Cutback for Vasilev, and Lukic! A banger of a strike for Jovan Lukic's first MLS goal!
It's fallen out to Westfield! Oh, wow! He's nearly taken the roof of the net off! Philadelphia pounce again!
Who gets his goal on his Union debut? The record signing, off and running in his first appearance for the club.
Hello and welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd, and we figured why not do a little 30-minute episode for you guys to wrap up the 2025 year. Jose and I had talked about this last night, and parenting comes first. And so, I like the idea so much from Jose. And I was like, you know what, I'll still go out there and do a 30-minute episode for you guys, because we did get some Philadelphia Union news yesterday afternoon. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then Jose gave me a good idea about what are we grateful for in 2025? What are we thankful for? So we'll spend about 30 minutes total on this episode, I hope. But you guys know how the podcast usually goes, whether it be me by myself or me and Jose. We always go over them what we say we're going to do. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about that news that the Philadelphia Union announced yesterday. And that is the Philadelphia Union announced that they have acquired 19-year-old center back, he's listed as, Finn Sundstrom from USL Championship side, North Carolina FC, signs a contract through 2028 with options through 2030. So he's a 19-year-old center back, like I said, from North Carolina FC, down in the USL Championship. And we all know what happened with North Carolina. They announced after last season that the team would be no more. Oliver Zemler, who spent the second half of the season on loan from Philadelphia Union, was without a club. And then Jose had broke the news, and then Lexington reported on it, or confirmed it, that Oliver Zemler is now the new goalkeeper with Lexington in the USL Championship. Julian Carranza, we also got news on today that he's leaving Feyenoord, currently on loan with Leicester City in the championship over in England. He is joining Nexa in Mexico. And so, some Philadelphia Union or former Philadelphia Union players making moves, but the Union themselves making a move with Finn Sundstrom. And I'm really excited about this deal. This is something that I was aware of for quite some time, that it was in the works, and I waited for it to be official before going out and speaking about it like I am now on the podcast. But yeah, this is a signing that I'm very happy about. The Union had to acquire his MLS rights from DC United. So the Union had sent a 2028 first round super draft pick, and the jokes. The Union hate the super draft this much. They just continue to get rid of their picks. And we know a couple of years ago, the Union gave up their next 3 years worth of draft picks to Colorado Rapids. And now here the Union are in 2028 giving away their first round draft pick to get a player that I think has a lot of potential. And this obviously isn't a big flashy signing that I think there are some in the fan base that are still hoping the Philadelphia Union are going to make. This is who the Philadelphia Union are. This is the classic Philadelphia Union signing, in my opinion. It's a player, I'm sure, majority of the listenership of the podcast, majority of the fan base of the Philadelphia Union have no clue who Finn Sundstrom is. And I'll be honest, too, don't know a ton about him, didn't know a ton about him, but you start asking around people that cover USL a lot more than what I typically watch. I don't watch a lot of USL, I'll say that off bat. But once I started hearing about Finn, obviously you're going to go ahead and look up highlights as you naturally do for a brand new signing. You go ahead and you ask around to people that pay that much attention to USL, and you respect the opinions of other people, and then of course you form your own opinion. But A lot of people had described Finn as one of the best up and coming players in the USL Championship, and some people had said that they frankly thought that he was too good to be playing in the championship. And so to see the Union go out here and sign a player that technically didn't have a club anymore, and they had to do funny business to get ahead on the waiver wire and pick him up from DC United. I mean, a whole mess of a deal. And for me, the inner workings of the deal, how the Union acquired, isn't that important in my opinion. What is important is that they go out and get a promising player. And so I mentioned it. He's 19 years old, listed as a center back, played a full season last year with North Carolina, made his debut in 2024. He's a product of their academy, joined at the age of 11. And so he worked his way through every single age group with North Carolina. This is a player that they were very high on. And if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure after he graduated high school, he was supposed to go to North Carolina to play college soccer, but he wound up signing professionally with North Carolina FC. And yeah, I mean, when you have the opportunity to go pro, why not take that opportunity? And so he makes his debut in 2024 and then plays his first full season in 2025, where he made 33 appearances across all competitions for the club, had 9 shutouts on the field, was North Carolina's Player of the Month for September, USL Championship Young Player of the Year, I should say, nominee, was in the final 3, didn't wind up winning that award, but to see him nominated in his first full season in the final 3 of best young players in USL, that tells you about his quality. Earned his first US U20 national team call-up in August. And what I think is interesting is in 2025, he wasn't just getting minutes for development. He was a trusted, consistent, and durable player for North Carolina at a young age. It's a league that's physical. It's a league that I think it's overlooked a lot for the quality in that league. And you do see former MLS players join USL and kind of reestablish themselves, and then they could wind up and get a chance again in MLS. You see a lot of former MLS guys do very, very well. Matt Real, Anthony Fontana, was with Colorado Rapids last year. Eric Dick, the goalkeeper with Pittsburgh, who won the USL Championship last year, played against the Union this year in the US Open Cup. You maybe remember his time with Minnesota United when he was in MLS. And so, I mean, the list can go on and on and on with the amount of players that have gone from MLS to the championship, went from the championship to MLS. I mean, there's so many different examples you can give. And like I said, I mean, this is a player that, okay, well, we want to develop you. We're going to give you minutes here and there. No, Finn was getting meaningful minutes. He was starting. He was one of North Carolina's best players at the age of 19 years old. He was the team leader in blocks. He had 28. He was second in clearances with 111, second in tackles, 138. And I had mentioned at the beginning of the show where he's listed as a center back. And when I look at the highlights, when I watch games back, I think he has the profile to play as a number 6. I really do, in a double pivot. I think he is that talented. He had 1,014 passes attempted, and that's pretty decent number for a center back. And yeah, your center backs are typically going to have the most passes on your team because you're building out of the back. But out of all those pass attempts, he completed 81.7% of his passes, almost 82%. And so that tells me right off the bat, if I wasn't watching film, if I wasn't watching highlights, that this is a player that seems to be comfortable in build-up. This is a player that doesn't mind having the ball at his feet. But then when you go back and watch games and you watch highlights, that's exactly the case. He's a player that likes having the ball at his feet. He can see passes maybe that other teammates at North Carolina weren't seeing. He has the ability to play those passes that maybe some teammates couldn't play. And so when I see him, yes, he played as a center back. But in my mind, wouldn't you want to have a player that can split lines, a player that can see a pass, a play or two before maybe regular people see the play happen? Wouldn't you want that player further up the field? He's not a center back that's just going to go ahead and play it safe. He's a center back that is going to take risk. He's a center back that is aggressive. He pushes high up on the field. And when I look at these traits, that's why I'm saying that I could see long term, maybe the Union move him up, play him as a number 6. And yes, I know the Union have Danley John Jock. Yes, I know they have Jovan Lukic. But look, let's face it, guys. World Cup year, Danley John Jock going to the World Cup with Haiti. If he impresses with Haiti, what's stopping a team in Europe from giving the Union a big offer for Danley John Jock? Not much. And so you got to plan for the future. Yes, this on paper is maybe a move where fans are going to say, yeah, I don't expect him to play much. Maybe he'll be with Union 2 most of the season. And I personally don't think so. I think he's way too talented for MLS Next Pro. If he was one of the best players in all of USL for young players, then he's certainly too good for MLS Next Pro. Do I expect him to come in and break into the Union starting 11 this season? No. But I do expect him to get meaningful minutes, whether that's as a center back, whether that's as a number 6. There's some people I saw on social media saying, oh, this can't be it. This can't be it. We can't go this young in the back with the defenders that we have. People have asked, is Martinez still coming here? Because the Union haven't announced that. That's still going to happen. You gotta think visas, and we know the issues the Union have had with visas. That's still going to happen. And people that are upset maybe that this doesn't move the needle, the Union are still going to be active. Let's not forget that we are early in the January transfer window. We're so early in. And so fully expect the Union to be active. And so, yes, you look at Finn as a player for the future. But yes, I look at him as a player that can still help you out in 2026. And so, no, I don't see him as a player primarily playing with Union 2. I think he's going to come in here. And the good thing is, too, right, is we know the Union head out to Spain in January. The Union get this deal done before the team heads out in January. And so getting him into a preseason camp with the team, building that chemistry, getting those chances. We know the Union are going to play a ton of games this preseason. He's going to get his opportunities. And look at the opportunities that Frankie Westfield got last year for the Union. And yes, I know injuries played a big part in that. Makania getting opportunities last year too. And again, I know injuries played a part into that. But you don't know what's going to happen in preseason. You don't know who's going to come into preseason and impress these coaches more than they thought they would. Maybe Finn's a player like that. And maybe come the start of the MLS season, what if Finn has such a good preseason that he's in the starting 11? You don't know. And that's what I love about this signing is that it's added depth. It's a versatile player that absolutely fits into what the Union want to do. You look at Finn, he's a player that is fine playing under pressure, and you're going to come under pressure in MLS, of course. He's a player that's not afraid to step up high and be aggressive. And my goodness, if you look at some of those highlight videos, he's not afraid to have a sliding tackle, and he times those tackles so well. And so I think he fits in exactly what the Union's DNA model is. You got to be tough. You got to press. You got to be flexible. You got to be versatile. It's got to be a player that performs well in pressing systems. And I think Finn checks all those boxes. And what's impressive is it's at the age of 19 years old. And so I'm super excited, really, really excited with this signing. And what the Union had to give up, let's face it, right? It's the Union giving up a draft pick for an unknown player, for a known player. He already has first team minutes under his belt, a full season. One of the best players for North Carolina. One of the best young players in all of USL. And so you get a player with that experience under their belt that can help contribute to the team right now, as opposed to waiting until 2028 for a potential draft pick. It seems like it's a given for me, right? You take that deal every single time. And so I think this is so telling that the Union are committing to the future, but they're also looking at the present. They're also looking at the present. They're looking at a great deal. They take advantage of the deal. And yeah, I know that there's people that complain all the time that the Union are a selling team. But this is what smart organizations do. They prepare not only for the future, but also the present. They prepare for the present and prepare for the future. And so to see the Union commit a long-term deal to a 19-year-old that just came off of a very, very successful season in his first pro year in the USL Championship, I think this is a really smart move by the Union. It's a continued sign of their commitment to youth development, roster sustainability, that they're constantly building layers, that they're not out here trying to make headlines. They're just going about being the Philadelphia Union. And more times than not, these type of signings pay off for the Union. They pay off. And so I think the Union are going to continue to follow their DNA and sign players that fans aren't too aware of. But time and time again, don't those players show out to be pretty successful players? And whether it be Ernst Tanner leaving the charge or other people in that front office, don't you think that they've deserved to earn your respect for the deals that they have helped get over the line over the years? Yes, Ernst Tanner is the face, but it's so much than Ernst Tanner helping make moves for this club. And so I'm super excited. I'm fully expecting the Union to continue to be active. And I can't wait to see Finn next season play minutes with the first team. And yeah, I'm sure here and there he'll play minutes with Union too if he needs game time. But again, there's a player that I think is just way too talented for MLS Next Pro. I don't expect him to play a majority of his minutes next season with Union too. I expect him to get game time every now and then with the Union, come off the bench. I expect, with the amount of games the Union play, yeah, we'll see starts here and there, I would imagine. And again, maybe he surpasses all expectations, has a phenomenal preseason, and maybe he's pushing to be one of those 11 players in the starting lineup. We shall see. But let's go ahead. And this is something that I wasn't really thinking about when Jose had mentioned it to me, but he was like, maybe we should talk about what we were thankful for in 2025. And as soon as he said this, it's like, man, what do I start thinking about? I mean, 2025 for me was pretty difficult personally. And, I've been on here and sharing kind of what that's looked like for me. People in my personal life know what that's looked like. But if I think professionally, doing the podcast, writing, covering the Philadelphia Union, I have a lot to be thankful for. And I think there's no better way to start off than thanking the Philadelphia Union themselves for allowing me to have the access that they had given me this season. I am super grateful that I was the first person in the media to interview Indiana Vassilev and Ben Bender when they announced those signings. And both players couldn't have been even nicer to interview. Both guys had been so laid back, and it didn't even feel like doing an interview because they were so easy to talk to. And more times than not, whenever I would ask for a player, the club would help. The club, when I would travel on the road, would be so accommodating, giving players to talk to after the game, whether it be a win or a loss. And, you know, I always ask myself or remind myself, why did I start covering the Union? Why did I start the podcast and then branch off and do other things? And that's because I want to make this the most informed fan base that there can possibly be. And I don't hear it all the time, but you do occasionally hear it. And people are like, oh, well, don't you feel it's competition against Jose, Kyle, Jillian Almany, other people in the media? And I'm like, no, not at all, because I constantly remind myself that I didn't get into this to break news, break stories. I got into this to make you, the listeners, the most informed you can possibly be. The whole media landscape has changed so much the last couple of years. And a couple of episodes ago, Jose and I were talking about numbers on Spotify that had absolutely blown us away with how much the podcast had grown. And that's because of you guys spreading the word of the work that Jose and I do. And my mindset is, I want to surround myself amongst other like-minded people that want to make this fan base as informed as possible. And that's exactly who I surround myself with, is people that aren't in this for themselves. They're in it because they weren't happy with the coverage that this team, or lack of coverage this team, used to get. And so obviously there was opportunity there, and you change with the changing landscape of media. You do podcasts more. You go live on the podcast. You start looking at, okay, well, nobody's doing goals breakdown videos. Why not do that? It's another form of content that people enjoy. And so, yeah, I don't see it as competition with other people. I see it as, okay, surround myself with other like-minded individuals and work together in trying to get the word of Philadelphia Union out there as much as possible. And I know that's very difficult in a city like Philadelphia. And I was going to ask Jose this because I can remember back in 2018 and 2022 when it was a World Cup year. I can't speak for Philly media, and maybe you guys, the listeners, can. But down here in Maryland, in Baltimore, you would have some of those talk shows spend a couple minutes talking about the World Cup, talking about some of the games. But then some of the shows absolutely would not talk about the World Cup at all. And so I'd imagine that that's probably what it's going to be like with some of the shows in Philadelphia. They won't talk about the World Cup. But the good thing is, the more you talk about the Philadelphia Union, the more people that are covering this team telling these storylines, then, in my opinion, the city can't hide from the Union. They can't hide from soccer. And so, yeah, that's my mindset, is just to make the listenership, the fan base, as informed as possible. Draw people in that maybe weren't Philadelphia soccer fans, weren't soccer fans in general. I mean, I've had a couple messages the last couple of weeks, people telling me, yeah, I'm not a Philadelphia sports fan, but I'm a Union fan, and your podcast, it's helped me stay on board and helped me stay connected. And so every now and then you get messages like that, and it makes you feel good that you're doing a good job. And even if you just change one person's opinion, then I feel like the job's done. But thankfully, there's more cases out there that where more than one person's changed their mind on soccer, which always feels good. But if I think about specific things that I'm thankful for in 2025, like I mentioned, interviewing players, specifically Vasilev and Bender, I look at the trips that I've been able to take with Jose Nunez, Kyle and Jillian Omni. I'm sure Jose is probably going to want me to tell this story, and I mean, I'll never forget this story is when we had traveled up to Citi Field in May, and Jose and I had got tickets to go on the Amtrak up to the Penn Station, or sorry, that's where you're leaving, right? Penn Station, is that in Pennsylvania? I don't know, man. You guys are gonna kill me for that, but leaving the train station in Philadelphia and taking the 30th. Sorry, I looked it up. Yeah, the 30th Street station in Philadelphia. And I'm killing myself here, and you guys are probably going to kill me in the comments. Penn Station. I swear to God. Yeah, exactly. I knew it was Penn Station. Why do I doubt myself? In New York City, I knew it. Yeah, taking the train up from Philadelphia to Penn Station in New York. So when I was on my way from Maryland to Philadelphia, I thought I had left in plenty of time. And there is a crash right off the exit to park at the train station in Philadelphia. And Jose's giving me play-by-play text and call saying, dude, we're lining up. We're actually boarding now. And I'm like, dude, I think I'm going to miss this train. So I just park anywhere where I see that it says you can park. I'm like, I don't care how much it's going to cost. I'm going to park here. And so I'm running down the escalator. Jose's just waiting for me outside the train. It's like, you good, dude? And then the train leaves 2 minutes later. Could not believe that I had almost missed the train. And then we go up to New York City, walk around, and then we get into the light rail train to go to Citi Field. And so Jose and I had sat all the way at the back of the train. And we didn't realize that it's only the middle part of the train that lets out. And you only get like 20 seconds to leave the train. Jose and I miss our stop. And so we get off a block away, and then we have to walk back down to Citi Field. Union lose that game, we all remember, but it was a cool experience being in a MLB stadium and seeing, okay, what this stadium looks like in person as opposed to watching it on TV. And so, yeah, we get through all that, and then we get to Penn Station to head back to Philadelphia. Our train's delayed until like 12:30 at night. And man, we finally get back to Philadelphia at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Everything's pretty much closed. And Jose's like, all right, let's go and try to find your car. And we circle around the building once, and Jose's like, I'm not seeing your car. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see it either, but I'm very confident. I know where I parked. I'm like, there's no way they towed my car. So we go around once again. We find my car, but my God, like the panic that set in after we couldn't find my car the first time. I don't know how we missed it. I was like, uh-oh, this isn't good. Luckily found it. Didn't get home until, I don't know, 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Driving home, starting to see the sun come up. I was like, oh, might as well just stay up, didn't it? But Yeah, that trip's always going to stick out to me. My first time ever in New York City, and almost missed the train in Philadelphia to New York City. And Jose's just having a laugh the whole time because of how stressed out I was. But look, I didn't miss the train, and I guess I will leave more than 2 hours before the train's going to depart next time, just because you never know how the traffic, how accidents may or may not happen heading into Philadelphia. I look at the New York Red Bull trip with Kyle and Jillian Omni, the DC United trip down to Audi Field with Kyle and Jillian. Those are always memorable trips, always a great time. Talking to Milan Alaski and Uwa after the game down in DC, a big Philadelphia Union win. Yeah, that game stands out because obviously Quinn Sullivan tears his ACL, and you could tell the mood was ruined from the players in Bradley Cornell's press conference because the concern was with Quinn Sullivan. Yes, it's a exciting scoreline, but you lose such a big player for you throughout the season for the rest of the year. And so, yeah, hopefully Quinn's recovery is still going well. But I'm just thankful for memories that I get to spend with true friends and getting to travel to places that I've never been to before, going back to some stadiums that I don't get to a lot once a season, and always looking forward to when the schedule comes out and then marking off. And I'd share it, but I have this soccer board map right above where I record, and I put a soccer ball there every stadium that I've been to, and hopefully eventually I'll be able to mark off every single MLS stadium in America. But yeah, it's always fun saying, okay, look, I have this portion of the map checked off. Let's go ahead and, the Union playing in San Diego, got to go to San Diego. Oh, they're going to Austin again, got to go to Austin. So it's cool looking at these places where I eventually want to get to, and hopefully flights. And yeah, there's no way I'm taking a train and driving to a San Diego or Austin. So yeah, flights. Hopefully flights come down and I can get to one, maybe both of those places for this upcoming season. But yeah, I mean, friendship, traveling to these places with friends, so much to be thankful for. And then obviously you guys, the listeners, getting nice messages, whether it be DMs, people commenting on posts on YouTube, Substack. It's always good getting feedback, whether it be positive or negative, because again, I'm not perfect. I messed up thinking, is the train station in Philadelphia 30th or is it Penn Station? Knew I shouldn't have doubted myself. But yeah, it's not perfect, and I never claimed to be perfect. And I'm going to make mistakes and continue to make mistakes, but people like you guys hold me accountable. You guys bust my balls, and it's all good. So I do want to continue to take this podcast, take my coverage to new heights, and again, give you guys the coverage that you guys deserved. And I look forward to 2026, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the top 10 Philadelphia Union goals from 2025. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the top 10 saves from 2025. Did I leave anything off those lists? Did I spark your memory? Did you guys forget about any of those plays? I would love to know. And I love making those videos for you guys, and I love doing the podcast, and I can't wait to continue to do them in 2026 and see what 2026 has in store for not only myself, but for the Union too. So I'm looking forward to watching this club continue to be active throughout the January transfer window. And I'm looking forward to watching people continuing to lose their minds when the Union sign players that people never heard of, and they sell players that fans didn't want them to sell. It's like, come on. At the end of the day, how long have you guys been a fan for? Players don't stick around forever. Players are constantly moving. I get it. You have fan favorites, but this is the way the Philadelphia Union do business. Accept it already. But if you guys aren't following the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, follow @FreeKickPod, wherever you get your podcast of The Free Kick. check out the YouTube channel live, every single podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/freekickpod, where you can also check out the goals breakdown videos. And you can go ahead and read my articles, goals breakdown videos, or the podcast all in one place by going to thefreekick.substack.com. So we'll see if we do a podcast episode on Sunday, Jose and I don't know yet. If we do, then you guys will see the advertisement for it on Twitter and Instagram. If not, then we'll be back when we're back. But I hope you guys have a fantastic new year. I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys aren't getting into too much trouble. But with that said, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.